bustling Boost Juice Cafe had always been a haven for those seeking refuge from the sweltering summer heat. Located at the heart of downtown, it was the perfect place for a refreshing smoothie or a crisp juice on a scorching day. For years, I had been a loyal employee at this establishment. The neon-lit atmosphere. Little did I know that beneath the colorful façade, a chilling secret lurked, waiting to shatter the comfortable routine I had grown accustomed to. The summer of that year had been particularly brutal, and the customers flocked to Boost Juice like never before. I was on the evening shift, as usual, grinding away at the blender, making sure every order was perfect. My co-workers, Janine and Ryan, worked tirelessly alongside me, serving the endless stream of thirsty patrons. The place was packed, but it was just another day in the life of Boost Juice, or I thought. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the cafe, an eerie stillness settled in. The once cheerful chatter of customers grew hushed, and I could feel an unusual tension in the air. Janine glanced at me, her eyes wide with unease. I tried to shake off the feeling of impending dread, but it clung to me like a stubborn stain. "Did you hear that?" Ryan whispered, his voice trembling as he leaned closer. "Hear what?" I replied, straining to listen. All I could hear was the monotonous drone of the blenders. "It's like a whisper," Janine said, her face pale. Coming from the back room, we exchanged uneasy glances, and, curiosity getting the better of us, we cautiously made our way toward the back of the cafe. The door to the storage room was slightly ajar, and from within, an inexplicable, soft murmur emanated. It was as if the very walls were whispering secrets. Pushing the door open, we entered the room. Boxes of fruits and supplies were stacked neatly on shelves, but there was no one there. The murmuring grew louder, yet the words were incomprehensible, like a distant echo. We looked at each other, fear and confusion mirrored in our eyes. "Is this some kind of prank?" Ryan asked, his voice wavering. Before we could ponder further, a deafening crash jolted us. Turning around, we found the shelves collapsing, sending a cascade of boxes and fruits to the floor. Panic set in as we scrambled to escape the chaos. It was as if some invisible force had torn through the room, wreaking havoc. The manager, Mr. Simmons, arrived in the nick of time, and we explained what had just transpired. He inspected the room, his brow furrowed in disbelief. "I've never seen anything like this," he mumbled, more to himself than to us. "Just clean up the mess, and let's get back to work." We nodded, too shaken to argue. As we cleaned up the wreckage, I couldn't help but feel that the incident was more than just a freak accident. There was something deeply unsettling about it, something that gnawed at the edges of my consciousness. The next few days passed without incident, and we convinced ourselves that it had been a one-time occurrence. But the unease lingered, like a shadow lurking in the corners of our minds. Janine refused to enter the storage room alone, and Ryan's cheerful demeanor had been replaced by a constant nervousness. One evening, as I was closing up the cafe, I noticed a faded photograph on the wall. It depicted a group of people, presumably the cafe's previous employees, standing in front of the store. In the center of the photograph was a man who stood out, a tall, imposing figure with a stern expression. His name, I discovered from a plaque beneath the photo, was Benjamin MacAllister. The name struck a chord. I recalled hearing whispers from the long-time customers about the mysterious circumstances of MacAllister's death. It had happened years ago, right here in this cafe. Legend had it that he had been obsessed with perfecting his juice recipes and had locked himself in the storage room for days, experimenting with different fruit combinations. When he finally emerged, he had looked like a man possessed, his eyes haunted and his skin ashen. He had died soon after, his cause of death never officially determined. It was then that the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. The storage room, the whispers, and the photograph all pointed to something sinister hidden within the cafe's history. Determined to uncover the truth, I delved into the cafe's archives, searching for any clues about Benjamin MacAllister's experiments. What I discovered sent shivers down my spine. MacAllister had indeed been obsessed with creating the perfect juice, and he had left behind a journal filled with his experiments. The entries grew increasingly erratic, filled with cryptic references to unlocking the essence of nature and finding the forbidden blend. One entry, in particular, stood out. August 14th, 1983. Today, I felt a presence in the storage room, a force beyond our understanding. It whispered secrets to me, secrets of flavors and combinations that could change the world. I am on the verge of a breakthrough, but I fear the consequences of my actions. The room itself seems alive, hungry for something. I must proceed with caution. The more I read, the clearer the connection became between MacAllister's experiments and the strange occurrences in the storage room. It was as if his obsession had left an indelible mark on the cafe, a dark legacy that continued to haunt us. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I shared my findings with Janine and Ryan. They were skeptical at first, but as I recounted the strange incidents and the journal's contents, their doubts slowly gave way to dread. "We have to find out what he was trying to achieve," Ryan said, his voice determined. "Maybe there's a way to put an end to this." We decided to conduct our own experiments, hoping to decipher the secrets of MacAllister's concoctions and put an end to the unsettling occurrences. Late at night, when the cafe was deserted, we gathered in the storage room armed with a selection of fruits and a blender. As we began to blend the fruits, an eerie silence descended upon us. The whispers returned, louder and more coherent this time. It was as if the room itself was guiding us, urging us to discover the forbidden blend. The air grew thick with anticipation, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were treading on dangerous ground. Hours passed as we experimented with different combinations, following the cryptic instructions in MacAllister's journal. The room seemed to come alive, its walls pulsating with an otherworldly energy. We lost track of time, consumed by our obsession to unlock the secrets of the cafe. And then, as if in a trance, I added the final ingredient, a rare, exotic fruit I had found hidden in the depths of the storage room. The moment it touched the blades of the blender, a blinding light filled the room, and a deafening roar echoed through the air. We stumbled back, shielding our eyes from the intense brilliance. When the light finally subsided, we cautiously approached the blender. Inside, a swirling, iridescent liquid beckoned us. It was unlike anything we had ever seen, a mesmerizing fusion of colors and flavors. We shared a hesitant glance before pouring the concoction into 3 glasses. As we took our first sips, an indescribable sensation washed over us. It was as if we had tapped into the very essence of nature, a taste that transcended the boundaries of the known. But along with the euphoria came a deep, foreboding sense of dread. We knew, in that moment, that we had unlocked something far beyond our comprehension. The room around us seemed to pulsate with malevolent energy, and the whispers grew louder, more insistent. It was as if the cafe itself had come alive, and it hungered for something more. Suddenly, the walls of the storage room began to close in on us, the shelves of fruits and supplies merging into a nightmarish labyrinth. Panic surged through us as we tried to escape, but the room seemed to have a will of its own. The whispers transformed into anguished cries, and the very air grew heavy with despair. In a desperate bid to break free, we downed the rest of our drinks, hoping that the concoction would somehow reverse the room's transformation. But it was too late. The walls continued to close in, and we were trapped in a claustrophobic nightmare. As darkness enveloped us, I couldn't help but wonder if this was the fate that had befallen Benjamin MacAllister all those years ago, a fate of obsession, despair, and an eternal entrapment within them. Walls of boost juice. The next morning, the cafe appeared as it always had, bustling with customers seeking respite from the summer heat. But Janine, Ryan, and I were nowhere to be found. We had become part of the cafe's dark history, our fate forever entwined with that of Benjamin MacAllister. As the years passed, the legend of Boost, Juice's cursed storage room, grew. Customers whispered about the strange occurrences, the mysterious disappearances, and the haunted blender that still sat in the back room, untouched by time. And I, a mere memory of the past, watched from the shadows as the cafe continued to thrive, its secrets buried deep within its walls, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to unlock the forbidden, blend, and become a part of its chilling legacy.